Good evening.
Good evening, Vietnam. Hello, everybody. Michelle and I, I'm getting up and walking off. We're sat by the fountain in Dong Hoi, Vietnam. And we're going to take for a little nighttime walk. Who's in? Anybody? Any regulars in, say hello. And I'm going to show you around this beautiful little town. City, I think they call it. Feels a bit more like a town.
It does.
And I've not done a nighttime live stream, so I was a bit worried it's going to be too dark, but it looks quite bright, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's okay.
Colour looks good.
It's okay.
Can you see the dolphin statue behind us? And the fountain, the little kids are playing around it. So if anybody is in, say hello.
I'll say hello.
6 people in. Who's there? Who's from where? I know it's early in the USA. I'm hoping it's going to catch some of the folks back home. We've not tried this late night live streaming before, so I'd appreciate if anyone could just sort of say hello and just test, is the sound okay? Are we good for the sound? And then we're going to have a little walk along this promenade, see if we can see some fishermen, and we're going to take you out for a drink somewhere nice and cool. Scorching hot again today.
Are you ever hopeful for it to be cool?
Yeah, but it's okay, it's quite nice. So is anybody in? Good evening. Are any of our YouTube buddies up and about? Oh, Julie will be there.
Oh yes. Oh look, somebody's there. Who's there? You've got to read it soon.
Oh yeah, I've got to do the reading. Oh, suddenly it's come. Hola, saludos, hello. Hola.
Taking a while to warm up there.
Oh, my eyes, I'm going to have to get a bit closer if I'm going to read your comments. Hi, Mimi, how are you? Oh, the numbers are coming in. Jan, it is beautiful. Look at the sky. We've got that sort of blue hour lighting behind us. Hey, Pauline, how are you? So people are starting to rock up. That's beautiful. Look at the kids running behind. Is the picture good? Is the sound okay? If someone can just let me know, and then we're ready to rock and roll.
Oh.
Hello? If the sound is okay, you should have heard a bus.
A bus.
Penang. Oh, my favourite island in Malaysia. Pauline, as you know. Now, if your comments, Mimi, is that yes, because sound and everything's good? Sound and pic is all good. Thank you, Pauline.
Fantastic.
Look at these little tykes behind us. They all want to play around this beautiful fountain.
Now tonight, if you ask a question and he misses it, you'll have
Jelly
to ask it
Duck's
again.
in. Hello, Jelly Duck. Welcome to Vietnam. Hope you enjoy. We will have. Well, I spent a long time in Penang, Pauline, a long time, and it's one of our favourite cities at all. We did so much fun stuff there. I put on so much weight eating all the good food. So we're going to have a walk along. We've got the fountain behind us. This is Dong Hoi. We've got this bridge that lights up. It's like a perpetual Christmas. It's like a perpetual Christmas bauble. In the background. Reggae, I'm gonna struggle with languages if you're gonna throw them up. Is that Portuguese? Young Tang, I can see where you're watching from. You're just behind me. Is that you over there? Is that you? I'm not 100% sure. You tell me where you're watching from. You know we're in Vietnam. The horns are beeping. Kuwait.
Nice.
Jelly Duck, you in Kuwait? I didn't know you were in. I didn't know you were in Kuwait. Are you just in Kuwait now, or have you always been in Kuwait? Like I say, look at this bridge behind me. This bridge in Dong Hoi, it goes across to a little spit out there, and there's a lovely beach. If you're ever in Vietnam, come and visit. And along this this pretty little boulevard, let me see if I can get Michelle in shot. She's with me.
Shot. I think that bridge was your thumbnail, wasn't it? At night?
Yes. ¿Qué se pasa? Look, I'm going to turn the camera around a little bit so you can see everybody comes down to the waterfront. Good evening. Hello. And just up here, there's a huge, I'll take you up. Well, we try to be, Pauline. Pauline says we're so cheerful.
And someone said, what's for breakfast?
What's for breakfast? We haven't planned. I do know where we'll probably be going for
Yes,
breakfast. There's
yes.
a lovely little cafe just near us called the Tree Hugger Cafe. And they do a really lovely, smoothie sort of bowl breakfast. I've put a photograph up on Instagram so you can check that out. Oh, it's too warm, Michelle, for you to be too warm. So who's in? What have you been up to? Michelle and I are in Dong Hoi in Vietnam. And we're just heading down. Oh, hello ladies, girls. Hello, how are you? Are you having a picnic? Little boy nearly walked backwards into me. He's practicing, you know, like kids do. They're always playing. He's practicing walking backwards. Now, just down here, have you already found a hotel? Yes, we have a very nice hotel. It is. Good vibes. Well, we're just going to take you down here. I want to show you this. I'm hoping, I don't know if they fish at night. The nets are up. Take a look at this when we get there. Wait a moment, I can't fly.
Walk faster.
But there's a family just here that live out on a sort of stilted house. And you telling me the time in Vietnam, Jelly Duck? It is. Is it 9 o'clock?
No, it's 7 o'clock.
No, it's 7 o'clock, Jelly Duck.
Well, hopefully it's 7 o'clock because that's what time we're meant to go live.
Unless I've gone off. No, we have not been ripped off by anyone. I never have those sort of problems when I travel in Southeast Asia or anywhere else in the world, to be honest. But anyway, just here, I'm going to turn the camera around. Take a look. So there's a family here that have probably been here for a long time. They've got a beautiful little house that they built on stilts just off of the pier. So you can see here. And what is amazing with these families is they have, can you see a coracle anywhere, Michelle? So just ahead of the little stilted house, you see that fishing net? It's on 4 bamboo poles which sort of elevate over the bay here, and they drop the net down all throughout the day. They drop it down into the sea so it sort of lays flat with the bed of the sea, and then one of the family pull on these strings. I think you can probably just about see them coming in here. They pull on the strings, pull the nets up, and then they go out on one of those old coracles. I think it's called a coracle. I keep calling it a coracle. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
That's what we call it.
It's a little, let's see if we can see one. I'm sure this lady won't mind. She's getting up and preparing. Aha. Hello. Hello. Ah, well, this one's a tin one. You see that little round boat? So that little round boat, they go out to the net, and in the center you can probably see a little piece hangs down with a cinch on it, holds it closed, and they pull in the catch. And I suspect these families are pretty familiar with the tides. I think actually this might be one of the guys. You see, just arrived to go on.
Did you see the little fish drying on the deck? Did you see them? Probably too small.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Is this you? Yours? Oh, okay. Hello. Hello. Proper fisherman. The little boy is going down across the plank
Wow.
onto the little house, little floating house. And they're drying their fish out. I've come down here several times and they're always really pleased when the fish, they're always, you know, the children. So I saw the guy coming in on the little coracle there earlier on in the day, and all the kids are jumping up and down because he's got the fish, and now they're just drying it out on the on some net matting here. You can't probably see it, but just on the end of the pier, just here, just here, they've got all the little fish. They filleted and dried it out. So we're going to walk on. Am I missing comments? Michelle can't moderate because a small, round, lightweight boat. That's correct.
Yes.
They're ancient sort of. They're ancient boats. I mean, they had them in Europe. They had them in the UK. They've used them even in Australia. You'll see coracles used, and they're just a not very aerodynamic boat, but they're great for not too choppy waters, and where you want to just have a sort of fairly big volume in a small area. They're good. If you're not sure, Google coracle.
They just usually have one oar, don't they?
Yeah, they have one oar.
Front.
Actually, funny story. Today we were just up the end of this pier here, and two of the big fishing boats came in, and a young lad, I think he was like a harbour master, but he came down the pier and he jumped into a coracle, and he was swinging it backwards and forwards, swinging it, and he went all the way out to this big fishing boat. And at first I wasn't sure whether he was just a member of the crew or something, but he got to the fishing boat and he leant up and took a piece of paper off of the guy. Then he went to the next fishing boat, took a piece of paper. Then he paddled all the way back, and it's scooter alert. Then he paddled all the way back, his whole body swinging backwards and forwards for a long way. I mean, huge distance, wasn't it, Michelle?
Yeah, it was.
And like, I need reassurance, wasn't it, Michelle?
Yeah,
Tell them it was
yes,
true.
it was,
Tell them it was true. It was. So he went back a huge distance, and it took him ages. He jumped off the coracle, the little boat, and he went all the way up the bank.
He
ran, sprinted across the sand, up onto the bank, went to the little kiosk, and he was in there for a while. So I suspect he was checking the quotas for the catch, or he was giving them berth to come into the harbour. I don't know what he was doing. Then he got back. About 5 minutes later, he ran back down, took the coracle back out, and handed them another chit. So it was really fascinating. I want to film it if we can.
And then they went off, didn't they? The fish, so they were allowed to come in.
What's your opinion on people who live like that and manage to bring kids up in the world? Well, it's not really, my opinion's not so important really. That's their lives, and they've done it for centuries, and they're happy people.
Hello.
They can seem very content. We talked about this with people.
Hello.
Look at the exercise machines. So one fella's doing his sit-ups. You've got these what are they, just to sort of roll around. I don't know if I can show you. Roll your arms around, and then there's a little girl doing swings.
There's a cool boat down here.
Is there a cool boat?
One of the long ones.
It's a nice long boat down there. These aren't like the Vietnamese boats with the sort of long tail with a big motor.
Thai boats.
Sorry, Thai boats,
We
yes.
get confused.
They're more a sort of paddle or canoe, and I think they use a single oar, a little bit like a Venetian gondola. Hello. How are you? So who fancies What do you fancy to drink, Michelle?
I will have my coconut water, I think.
Coconut water.
Yeah.
Michelle gets a fresh coconut water down here at the end of the pier. A little cafe called ABC, and it's delicious. They break open the coconut and they put the water into a glass, which is unusual for this region. Normally they serve it in the coconut, but they do it this way. And they add ice, so it's really nice.
And the best bit is that they scrape all the coconut flesh out for me, so I haven't got to do it.
That's right. And I think I'm going to have, even at this late night, I'm going to have a coconut coffee. Here's our little family, picnicking family. Oh, I think that must be
I think it's the...
motion sensors, because it came on when we walked past before.
Okay.
Who is in? So yeah, I don't want to be judgmental, but I think it's a nice thing, and they seem very happy and content, and we can't really sort of...
It's a way of life for them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a way of life, and it's a dying way of life in many parts of the world. It will eventually pass on. The Mount Fidelity. Hot and humid from Florida. Hot and humid. It gets up to 40 degrees in the day here, and it's like soup. So yes, we are also hot and humid. Quite a stark difference to Japan when we were there.
Boat out there. Can't
Another
see
boat.
it.
There's a fisherman out.
See the red light, that's all.
Probably you might be able to see through this camera better. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So look, there's a guy. Whoops, all a bit grainy. No, I won't do that. So there's a guy out there fishing. That's too grainy.
Yeah.
Too grainy. So yes, stark contrast to Japan, hey? Well, Yongtang, I don't think you're really able to judge unless you're living here and you've lived like these families have. I don't think any of us are able to judge them. These people have a right to be on these banks because of historical reasons. Their families have been here for centuries, so they have certain rights to fishing rights on the shores. And you know, they live a life which at some point in the next 15-20 years probably won't exist anymore. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. They're certainly not doing any harm to their children. The children are fit and healthy.
Hello.
Hello, girls. Oh, what's happening? She's selling something? I have more possible problems, to be honest, with young children out selling stuff. There's a young girl there with a little basket of bits and pieces, bits and bobs, and that little girl should be having a normal life like every other child. And we see that not so much in this area, to be honest, but up in the northern parts of Vietnam we see that a lot. Now that is sad, because they're quite often anyway, I don't want to make this all about the rights and wrongs. We'll be covering that in some upcoming videos in a bit more detail. And if you want to see what most of the children are doing here in Vietnam at this time of night, I'll show you up here.
Yes.
Because most of them are having quite a good time. And actually I think that the boy probably who was on the pier there has probably been down here many times. But here up ahead of us is what the Vietnamese kids love to do at night. You're going to have to wait.
We're nearly there.
And actually it's a bit quiet tonight.
It is. What's the night? Thursday?
Yes, it's very quiet tonight. The other night I counted 30 of these little motor cars. I'll turn the camera. These little sort of electronic cars, and this whole here's children all getting drinks and things. Hello.
Hello.
And then they come down to this little plaza, this little square here, and they for a small amount of money they rent these little cars. There are
They're all out. Off the track
1,
today.
2, 3 over there on the center. And maybe in the next hour or so. No, there are not a lot of Western tourists in this particular town. It's not a particularly touristic town. It is a touristy town, as you can see by the bright colours and the lights around us, but it's more a Vietnamese holiday destination. So we don't see a lot of European, American, Australian, for want of another description, foreigners. There are some, but small numbers compared to Hanoi. Dong Hoi is not a popular European destination. So you've got these little cars, they rent them out. Look at them.
These ones have got music.
There's a little boy on one just over there. It's funny to see every night all the owners of these bikes. Some of them bring them in on little flatbed trailers, but a lot of them drive them or because they have remote controls, so they can actually move these without the child steering. They drive them up the little high street here, sometimes stacked one on top of the other. These lads here.
You wait for a break in the traffic to bring it across the road.
Girls, these guys here. They're not always the smiliest bunch. Hello guys, how are you? And they have these little paddling pools. The children come and they drop the little magnetic fishing line into them, trying to get fish out. It's really quiet tonight, isn't it? This was absolutely thumping last night. So this little stand here is selling the little wind. What do they call these?
Windmills, aren't they?
Windmills. And balloons, inflatables. So I hope you like this little walk around. It's a bit unusual for us. I'm going to take you over to a little local cafe where we're going to indulge ourselves in something lovely and gloat.
And say, look what we've got.
Oh, you'll wish you had it. Now this place here, how about that? We've just come from Japan and there's a girl here doing takoyaki. Couldn't believe it. Right here in Vietnam, she's making the takoyaki. Now, if you have any questions, hi Angeli. I do some fishing occasionally. I mean, I'm not what you would traditionally call a keen fisherman.
What, in the paddling pool?
No, out on Cape Leveque. Right, we're going to cross the road. Vietnamese style. We've just got to step out and hope we don't get killed. Oh,
The other way now.
other way. Cars are coming.
Oh, big table today.
Oh, big table in tonight. Hello. How are you?
Which one should we go on?
Sit on this corner.
This one? Like this or that one? Yeah. Chair.
This is my mate. How are you? You wanna let me turn the camera? Can I cafe? Okay, come say hello. Hey. This guy is fantastic. ABC Coffee. If you ever get a chance to come to No, it's not Da Nang. Oh man. Dong Hoi. Can I get one Nao Fin and one cafe Nok Tu? Yeah.
Đâu Vinh cà phê cột dừa. Cà phê cột dừa.
Cafe Couture. So I'm getting a cafe couture and a Nao Fin for Michelle. It's bedlam. What sort of entertainment is this? So the girl has already come and brought us a glass of iced tea. So I'm going to have a quick look at some of the comments here. I'm also just going to be patient with me a second. I'm going to set the tripod up so I don't have to hold it. So you're probably going to see some strange angles for a moment. And there we go. And then Michelle can see if there's any questions that I've missed. Neither.
Will you guys go to Da Nang, Hoi An?
Yes, we will. We're heading there slowly. Should have been there last week. Still not there. But we've not been to Hoi An or Da Nang before, so we're going to be trying that out. Hello, everybody.
Angela, you asked that question. She said I went to Da Nang and Hoi An last month.
She went last month.
You're going to be alright with the microphone facing that way?
Tell me if the noise of the road overwhelms it or whether it sounds okay if you're watching. Just let me know if it's overwhelming or if you can hear it okay. If it's okay, I'm just going to sit here.
So someone 2000 said, what's the daily budget there compared to Japan?
A lot of people ask us those questions, and we haven't been really keeping records lately, have we? It gets depressing if you keep records too often.
Was it expensive in Japan?
It was a lot more expensive in Japan, considerably more expensive. Generally eating out. I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to get coconut coffee, Vietnamese coconut coffee. And I'm going to come down here one day and film him making it. So it's how much? 20,000 dong, Vietnamese dong. 20,000 sounds expensive. Would one of you just quickly Google for me what 20,000 Vietnamese dong is? I think it's a couple of dollars or something like that, maybe.
23,000 dong is $1.
Oh, is it under $1?
Yeah, just over
Okay.
Australia.
Thank you, Ba Dao. Thank you. Mimi, what kind of sweeties do they have? Yeah, you're thinking right there, Mimi. I haven't discovered a lot of sweet stuff yet.
Chair.
Oh, the chair is really nice. And they do a caraman, which is like a creme caramel. But I think you're more asking about candy, like candy things. You want to come and sit around here a little bit, Michelle? Are you happy there? All right, you've got me, guys and girls. You've got me. So was the sound okay? The sound is fine. Even with that, you know you're in Vietnam. You know you're in Vietnam when unnecessary beeping of horns is constant. But you do get used to it, and it doesn't bother me immensely. I know some people find it a little bit really disturbing, but it doesn't bother me greatly. Got little ants all over the table today, Michelle. Little ants. Little ants. Little ants.
Stayed on your Wi-Fi. Stayed on your
I'm on wireless. Angela, yeah, the mosquitoes actually haven't been too bad in this region of Vietnam. I've rarely got bitten, but I did today. And I think it's because we've had a constant 3-4 days of heat, and maybe I'm a little bit sweaty, a little bit sticky. I don't know. I did get bitten a bit today. And be careful of the night markets. We're always very cautious, you know. We're generally pretty astute travellers, but you've always got to be careful. You've got to look out for the unexpected, and as long as you're fairly diligent in that respect. Look, I'm not going to say that we haven't had much happen to us, but we haven't really. But you know, touch wood, touch wood. Touch wood. Oh, that looks closer, doesn't it? That looks closer than it was. How is everybody? Jan, did I see you in? Are you still there? How are you, Jan? You're going to see little golf carts. There's 1 and 2, just went past, a third, and a fourth. And sometimes you'll see a little golf cart that looks like an old style car. So they've stretched the body of the golf cart and made it look like an old sort of Ford or something. They look quite cool. There's a black one and there's several black ones. And there's the taxi driver honking away. Beep, beep, beep. What was that last comment?
So Audio Cancel said, I just finished some berries with whipped cream, called up my phone, and was glad to see that you guys are live streaming. Cool.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, we did send a little reminder out on Facebook, and I'm going to stay on for a little while because we've never done this time before, have we?
No, it's a different time for us, so it's very difficult to get the timing right for everybody.
Yeah, and each country we've moved to since we left Australia has been moving an hour or so down the across the timeline. So by the time we get to our destination, which I don't know where our destination is.
But by the time we get there, we'll be at a different
By the time we get there,
somebody was saying about the water. And things. We're okay with the ice and here, aren't we? Because we know about that.
yeah, there's one thing in Vietnam that Michelle found out very early on was that the ice cubes that are tend to be processed for drinking have a hole through the centre, so they're often round. They have a hole through the centre, and they're pretty safe. I mean, nobody really makes those fake versions of those. So the ice we get in this tea, it has little holes in it. It's perfectly safe, and I've not had any real dicky stomachs on the food here so far.
Food-wise, we tend to go where it's busy. So
Yeah.
we know it's a zone caravan. And someone said, are you planning to rent a moped or car to get around?
We often do get little motorbikes, but we haven't done a lot. We've met a friend here. Well, we've made friends with a couple here that have a little bike we borrowed, but we haven't been out a lot since on this trip, have we? Ordinarily, we tend to get a bike and have it for most of the stay, but we've had so much to discover around us that we haven't felt a great need to go off afar.
Maybe the next stop we might go.
I think if we go to Hoi An, we'll probably get ourselves a bike and do a bit of exploring. It's been interesting coming to Vietnam after Japan, hasn't it? It's such a stark contrast. I mean, weather-wise, it's very different. The heat here is really, really hot and humid, and it stays that way. I know you're getting some hot weather on and off. Oh, here comes the girl with our beautiful look. Here she is. She's such a lovely girl, and she has bought. Camel, thank you. Oh.
Is that what you ordered?
No. She has bought not what I ordered. This is what I'm after. This is a Vietnamese coconut coffee. So you better go and order the, yeah. Well, I stuffed that up, didn't I?
You did.
I don't think I did actually. So I ordered my coconut coffee, and I ordered a beautiful coconut water, so for Michelle. And they brought my coconut coffee. They've also bought a beautiful this guy makes some of the best Vietnamese coffee. It's really good. It's like melted chocolate. And he's so fair. The prices here are super fair. That's why it's chock-a-block with locals. Right. Young Tang, I know what you're saying, but again, I'm not 100% in agreement, because I think the food in Vietnam is pretty good. But you have to use your common sense anywhere. Everywhere in the world, if a place starts giving people food poisoning, it tends to go out of business pretty quickly. And it's no different here in Vietnam. A cafe that's really popular, particularly with the locals, is most likely got a reputation for being clean and hygienic and providing high quality food. Now a cafe that gives one or two experiences of food poisoning, look, is that some expats?
Yes.
That looks like Zach. I thought that was Zach with his hat on. So a cafe that gives one or two customers food poisoning, the locals very quickly pick up on that. Word gets around the neighbourhood, everyone stops going, and if we walk past that cafe and there's no one in there, I'm not eating there.
Did you see the comment about the raw blood pudding served with cooked meat?
No? What's that?
Okay, so audio cancer says, have you or will you try Tiet Han, which is raw black pudding served with cooked meat while in Vietnam?
At the moment, probably not, because I think the blood pudding here in Vietnam is pork based, and there's a little bit of a problem in Vietnam. It's not to do with the Vietnamese.
Zach was busy with the Bee Gees, according to Neil Farrington.
I'm sure that was Zach getting in that car. He's been following me. There's a lovely local couple from New Zealand. Well, the lady's lovely. And they've got a great little information centre in Dong Hoi, and I'll put a link in this video. If anyone watches this later on, they can find Zach and Julie's place.
So Mimi said that coffee looks so good.
This coffee is to die for good. He's got really good, rich coffee, which is it's caffeine, and I got myself a drip coffee.
Yes, you're going to be coffee down.
And then it's got what feels like, it's almost like a coconut ice cream.
Yes.
It's good.
So the Montford Tilly, so you have to get visas to enter these countries.
Yes, you do. To come to Vietnam, if you want to come for a short time, they have a visa on arrival. For a lot of foreign countries, they have a visa on arrival, which I think is only 15 days or 14 days.
Yes, that's only for a few countries.
And if you want a longer visa, there's a process. You can get a 3-month visa here in Vietnam quite easily, and I'll probably make a video about that because we've had some good success with that. A 3-month visa is very easy to get and reasonably easy to renew, and business visas as well. There is a Facebook group here in Dong Hoi. It's fairly new, but I think you might find information about maybe business visas over the next few months. If you're interested, get on, join the Dong Hoi Stay Longer Facebook group and ask the question, and I'll make sure that somebody replies to you. I love the egg coffee. when I'm in Hanoi. Egg coffee is a Hanoi coffee. They don't do it here really. You can get it, but it's not from here. It originated in Hanoi during, I think, the 1950s.
I think so.
And oh, look, here comes a lady. She's bought this. Come on.
This is what I want.
This is what Michelle has. It's got little bits of coconut. It's delicious.
Dig it out. Whoops, lose my eyes. See, it's got the coconut flesh in it.
Oh,
Oops, where are we?
turn the camera up. Young coconut flesh.
Delicious.
So where was I?
Egg coffee.
So yeah, I have had lots of fur, but just back to their coffee. I think it was in the 1950s there was a shortage of milk, fresh milk in the country. An entrepreneur in Hanoi learnt that he could whip up condensed milk, which is a sort of preserved sweetened milk, with egg and make a foam which he then replaced the coffee with. So it originated from Hanoi. A lot of people who haven't heard of it probably haven't been to Hanoi.
Replace the milk with it, not the coffee with it.
Replace the milk with it. So what you have, in effect, is a sort of inverted version of this, where the cream is on top, but it's whipped to a foam and creates something like a milk, like a light milk or a whipped cream. Very nice. This area is more coconut coffee. Are you retired and travelling full time, and do you have a home base in Australia? Yeah, we are from Australia, but we're not really based there at the moment. We've been travelling for over 4 years, and little doggy up there. And we've been travelling for over 4 years, so we don't really have a home base at the moment because where we are, the old saying, wherever you lay your hat's your home, is where home is at the moment.
That cream you see under the coffee, it has a lot of sugar.
Somebody said that on a video recently, and actually if you think about it, that's barely just maybe over a teaspoon of condensed milk, and condensed milk itself is mainly milk with about 50% sugar, so it has a lot of sugar in it. But if you think about it realistically, and I don't like sugar in my coffee, it's barely a teaspoon of, maybe a maximum a teaspoon of coffee, so it's not that bad really. And it's not as if I'm drinking it every day. Oh yes, I am. But when I go back to my regular coffee, it'll be sugar-free.
And you wouldn't normally have a coconut coffee and a coffee?
At this time of night, I wouldn't drink coffee normally. I don't find it too sweet at all, to be honest. And I can't drink coffee with sugar in it. But I don't find it too sweet. You've just got to change the way your perception of the drink. It's more like having a coffee ice cream with
you have the ice in it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I don't find it too sweet at all. But if you really don't like sugar, then you shouldn't have. Just have a black Vietnamese coffee. One of the reasons Vietnamese coffee tends to be served with condensed sweet milk is because the beans, they are Robusta beans in Vietnam. The traditional growing of beans here is 90% Robusta, so the beans are quite bitter and sour. And they also roast them really dark, and I think that comes from the French influences, because the French roast is a dark roast. So not only have you got Robusta beans, but you've also got a dark roast, so you've got a very bitter coffee. Now, in France, most of my friends, when we lived there, had a short black coffee, and they put 3 teaspoons of sugar into it, maybe even 4 and 5 for some of them, and it greatly improves the flavour of bitter coffee. If your coffee is Arabica rather than Robusta. The Arabica beans are a softer flavour, so they actually are more forgiving without sugar.
That's been busy. So Moon over Miami says,
Hey,
okay,
Moon.
Good morning Vietnam, I finally caught live.
Good evening, Vietnam.
Yeah, we're trying to sort of fit everybody in with timings.
Tried a different time, Moon, and I'm pleased to see you in. Is it getting busier over on the with the children?
A few, how many?
Well, we're glad to have you in, Moon. Now, Ed, how are you, buddy? I didn't see it was Ed that said early on. Ed, I have had fur. I've had some beef fur and chicken fur. I love the fur in Vietnam. It's really good. I haven't had really good fur this trip yet.
Yeah,
No,
but we have been moving a lot.
but we've been a little bit bouncing around since we got here from Japan. So I haven't had. I didn't get the place. If you recall, in my top food to eat in Hanoi City, that I had really nice beef fur in and burger.
Yep.
It's closed. It's gone.
So Tony Trepper says hi, Steve from South Australia.
Hey Tony, how are you? G'day, mate. Where is everybody from? We got South Australia, possibly from Adelaide or maybe in the hills. Where's everybody from?
Mimi wants to know, what is traditional breakfast?
I think someone's from Dong Hoi.
Yes.
Jakarta, Angelixis from Jakarta. Chris the Butcher, hello buddy, how are you, Chris?
Neil says area gets busy after 9.
Neil said.
Yeah, Neil said.
How would he know?
I don't know.
Oh, he's over there.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we were a bit early, Neil, because or Zach.
So Ed says MT,
Northern Territories.
possibly. Moon over Miami says, I just woke up almost 9 in Miami. Sorry, I thought morning. No, it's evening.
No, it's I know I've got my American friends up a little bit early, some of you, but we only really either we do it early in the morning, and I say early in the morning, we either do it in the morning and catch everybody just before they go to bed, or we do it late in the evening and get everyone just as they're getting up.
So Tony Trevor says, go to the Green Mandarin restaurant in Hanoi. It's fabulous French.
Okay, mate, thank you for the tip. We'll not be back up there for a while, I don't think.
So Neil says Zach has a car booked for himself over in the kids area.
That'll be fun to watch.
Angelixi said, now live in Korea, will you go to Korea again?
I'd love to go to Korea again, but I can't see us going there this year because we've come here to Vietnam to process a visa for China. I'm really excited to go to China, particularly the regions that we're going to. They're a part of China I've never been to before. G'day, must be a friend.
So Mimi says USA, Ohio.
Mimi's in Ohio.
And Tony Trump says, I'm in Maitland, 150 k's out of Adelaide.
Wow. 150 k's Maitland. I'm trying to think. Did we go through Maitland?
150 k's?
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't think so. Possibly.
It must be north.
Yes, probably
It's
so.
150 k's.
And Moon over Miami says, Greek American, born New York, lives Miami Beach.
Miami Beach, Florida.
Very nice.
Very nice. Beautiful part. Oh, we hope Moon to get to the US again. I've noticed in videos I sit with my arm here. What's that about?
how you're comfortable. You sit like that. Anyway.
I suppose that or having it hanging down by the side.
Ah, so Tony says we York Peninsula. It is.
Yeah.
Down. Finish that.
I have finished this. Did I make a noise?
I didn't know whether it was.
When you're live streaming on YouTube, you shouldn't slurp the bottom of your should you?
But you should, because you have to drink it all. Please.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Neil, Zach. Neil, you're confusing me with names. Neil, I must have messed up the order because I've got 2 coffees. And Michelle didn't get anything.
Had to go and get my own.
Tony, we are in Dong Hoi. It's a small city, I would say, but it actually, I mean, it does sprawl.
Yes, it is the capital of this region.
It is the capital of this region.
So there.
What region is it the capital of, Neil?
I did read it earlier, but I forgot.
Now, with the coffee like this, you tip it up a little to the side, get that last bit of rich coffee out.
So that bottom bit doesn't fall off.
What's the coffee? This one actually has the bottom filter is actually separate from the bucket, and it will drop off. And then I'm not going to film it for you, but now I'm going to put some ice in that coffee. Oh no, I'm not. I'm going to stir it first.
Bardo says Hanoi, right? No, we're not in Hanoi.
Stir that little bit of sugar, and it is a tiny amount of sugar. I doubt there's a teaspoon of sugar in that coffee, but it just lifts the flavour. And this guy in ABC Coffee, there are 2 places I like my coffee here: Tree Hugger Cafe. And Tree Hugger Cafe is a really great place to eat, but I'm giving ABC my thumbs up for coffee because I think he makes the best coffee in the town.
So Neil says it's Quang Binh.
Quang Binh. So this is the capital of Quang Binh.
Apparently.
I knew that.
Moon over Miami says hello to me. Hi Moon, how are you?
Moon, Michelle is there.
I'm reading.
She's reading. We've got a family over here having a little bit of social. Now this cafe, it's all drinks, there's no food, which is kind of odd. I think they miss an opportunity,
Yes.
but it's good. We come here anyway.
The Ed wants to know, do you buy some plans for another visit to a different part of Indonesia?
We do, Ed, but not anytime soon, because this trip, we've pretty much got all of this year mapped out and a good chunk of next year. And Indonesia is not in that particular stretch because we're working our way across to Europe over land, and the only reason we flew those dreadful little flights with Jetstar and likes was because we went to islands to start with, Indonesia and Japan, and so we had to get on a plane, but we're trying to stay off planes if we can.
We did
Never
plan
say
on
never.
going to other places in Indonesia, but we only had 30 days and we ended up spending it all in Bali.
We planned to see lots of stuff in Indonesia, but Bali was so good, just and new to us because we'd never been to Bali before, or Indonesia for that matter. Bali was so good. I don't like to just jump into a district and get 3 days and then run to another district. So we spent a whole month in Bali and just we loved it. But I had this, Ed, you know, Indonesia is a big country. It's the largest island country in the world, or not sure of the exact statistics, Ed, maybe you can tell us. And I had this sort of foolish idea, I think, that Indonesia was a place we could go to and sort of whiz round and check everything out, but it's massive. It's just massive, and you'd need the minimum of a year, and even then, I don't think you'd get everything done.
Andy Dixie saying, I recommend Padang, which is West Sumatra.
Well,
People will say.
a lot of people were saying there are some parts of the western Indonesian islands that are quite hard to get to, though. It's getting noisy.
Tony says, is the coffee the recycled type? I think he means the animals, maybe?
No. That's a sort of little bit of a fad up north. Who said that?
Tony Chapter.
No, that's a very much a tourist fad up north, and I'm strongly led to believe or understand that 99% of the stuff that's sold as recycled through animal droppings, as I think you're talking about, Tony, is actually not recycled. It's just they can get good money for it. So you have to source that stuff very carefully, and I'm not willing to buy it just to try it unless I've been pretty close to the source. Sounds pretty disgusting, doesn't it?
So Andy Dixie was recommending Padang because it's someone's hometown. So he's still there and good food.
Oh.
One day, maybe one day.
One day those girls invited us to their hometown as well, and I wish we could have gone. We just ran out of time. It's all visas. It's government borders and visas that make it so tricky. 100 years ago, you could probably pretty much go anywhere without any trouble. Now we're all passported up to the hilt, and borders and visas. So if we'd had more time, we would have probably seen more of Indonesia because we really enjoyed it. But it doesn't matter. We went on to South Korea, and that was beautiful. We were lucky enough to get to Busan, and that was great. So much to see. So I'm going to finish. Oh, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
I know, I was just thinking that. Great to be having coffee.
So
I finished my coconut water.
So 20, 30, 32, 42, 44.
24, 44. What's that?
44,000 dong for everything. I'm going to this. Julie said Zach's gone to bed. I suspected as much, Julie. This is 100,000 Vietnamese dong. It's probably worth about dollar. Oh, 50 cents US. No, isn't it over $1?
I can't remember.
Well, Angela, let's see one day, but we get invitations. Not, and when you say get invitations, they're not paying for us to go to these places, but there are so many places that we want to go to. Neil, just to confuse things, Neil, who we call Zach, is not actually Neil or Zach, it's Julie. And Julie says we've missed the Bee Gees. No, actually, Julie, we haven't greatly missed the Bee Gees. Or maybe you know when you miss getting hit by a car? In that sense, we missed the Bee Gees.
Shannon says hello.
Hello, Cannon. Is it, Baido, is it $4 to $5 US? Okay. Well, that will pay for all these drinks and twice over. And that's not a boast. That's not. I mean, just trying to say how it is here. It's these are normal local prices. Can you see the lady behind me crossing the road? Now that is a Pelican Crossing or a zebra crossing. Oh, is it a man? Sorry, sir. And he's just got to walk out there because because nobody will stop for him. Just move over. And you've just got to pick your time. Don't argue with the trucks. And just walk over. Good for him. He made it safely. You'll be happy to know, Julie, you got over safely with a little bang. I'm going to take you back over the other side because I'm having to shout here. And we're just going to finish up tonight's little chit chat. Yeah, he has a baby. We've got to cross it next. I'll take the zebra crossing for just for laughs. That would be nice, Angelique. See, one day maybe we. Morris is in the house. How are you, buddy? Oh, I will hold Michelle's hand. What time is it with you, Morris? Oh, this coffee's so strong. I hate to waste anything, so I'm drinking this treacle dark coffee. But at this time of night, it's probably not a sensible thing to do. 2 p.m. I thought it probably was. They still charged me for the coffee that I didn't order.
But you didn't tell them.
So I'm
You're
drinking.
very nice.
I'm drinking it. Oh, this is going to kill me.
It is. That's why you get lots of editing done.
Ooh. Oh. Right.
It's busy over there.
We're going to cross the road. I'm going to hold Michelle's hand so that I feel safe. Michelle?
You're back on reading all the comments now.
Shahabuddin from India. Hey, the hammock will be swinging. Hold my hand so I get across safely, Michelle.
Okay. Drinking your tea.
Where's our friends? They're busy, are they?
They're busy.
Okay, let me just quickly adjust the tripod so we can see where you all are. Lock it into place.
Yeah, you ready?
Michelle's gonna.
We're going to the zebra crossing. This is the zebra crossing we're on.
This is the zebra crossing. We're gonna go across this way.
They go round
Oh.
us.
Okay. What's coming behind me there? Little kid. Thank you, fella.
We saw you coming.
Piped us in.
Oh. We spread
Whee!
out. There we go.
There, she got me over safely. I had full trust in her.
He always sees me across the road.
I usually see her across the road and then I follow if it's safe. It's the best way. She's like my canary in a cage. Like my canary in a cage. Get across there, Michelle, see if it's safe. Oh, I'm fine, I'm good. See, it's getting busier. Okay, everyone. We're going back. If any of you were here at the beginning of the stream, you'll recall how quiet it was just here. Take a look. So the lady's doing sugarcane juice.
It's dark over
It's, forget that take a look, we're not there yet. Now this is interesting. Take a look at this. Very interesting. I think this is called Tanbo, or this church here. Take a look at that. And you'll see, towards the roof, you'll see there's a tree growing out the top of the church. This is a Christian church here in Vietnam that was bombed during the war. So they kind of left it here as like a memorial. And it's quite eerie sometimes. You sort of come past and you see this sort of shell of a church. And the whole church, the grounds here. So, sorry if I'm missing your comments. I'll just get in, see if anyone's... Good morning, Ian from Colorado.
Hello. They thought you were talking to them. You were saying good morning.
Oh, there's a tiny little baby here, look.
Just got off the scooter.
Just came off the scooter, this mum and the little tot. Oh, it's probably about 6 months, 8 months older.
Yeah,
Not a tiny one, is it? But it's a cute one. Hello. Oh, she's so cute.
little boy, I think.
Hello. Oh. Very cute. Thank you. So, we've got these death traps which nearly killed me in Thailand. Hoverboards. And look now.
Now watch out because they're driving.
Now these two are driving their own. Okay. Now this could be, I'm going across the middle. This could be more dangerous than crossing the road.
I'll go behind you, I think.
You want to go first, Michelle?
No, I'll follow you.
Blaze the trail for me.
Lead the way.
Hello. Everyone's so sweet here and so friendly. So you can see, I'm going to turn the camera around. There's a boy coming
He's
up
coming
me.
towards us.
Oh, a little girl.
Two of them.
Two of them on their little motorbike. Whee! And then there's these sort of, well, I don't know what they are really. They're sort of, are they electric as well?
I think they might be, yeah. They're going
Speedy's
pretty fast,
going.
aren't they? Yeah.
Oh, here he comes again.
Big smile. He can't wave, he's got to hold on to his sister.
Look at this.
This is dangerous.
Look at this one.
You
He sat on the baby. This one's
No.
like.
You won't stand up.
Oh, and this little girl's got her own.
Oh,
Careful,
look
watch where you go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, I'm causing accident.
You're causing an accident.
Almost caused an accident there. See that? She was rubbernecking.
She was.
She was rubbernecking out the side of her car, in charge of a car at that age, and it was almost my fault. Okay.
But I think you were lucky that the one that was coming towards it to hit it on the side was being remote control.
Julie, I think I nearly caused the youngest motor vehicle accident. Whee! Are you controlling this one? Yeah. So this guy's controlling this one. So it's got like a remote control. That's cool. I'll just turn that. Oh,
We're right in the middle of it
look
now.
at this. Oh, look, these little ones here got a pedal.
Oh, it's swapping over now.
Oops.
They've both had a go. A bit of a crash there, fender bender.
Hope you're with the RAC. See how close they're coming.
Yeah, quick, you can jump in the front, that one. Nearly made it. Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Where are you from?
Australia.
Australia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm from Vietnam.
You're from Vietnam. What's your name?
My name is Dong.
Dong.
Yeah.
Hello, Dong. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. What's your name?
Steve.
Michelle.
Oh, Steve.
Steve.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Hello. Yeah.
So that's Dong from Vietnam. Oh, I think there's been an accident here.
Oh, hang on.
Oh no. Police have been called.
We're doing a runner before the police arrive.
Quick inspection. The children here in Dong Hoi, they love to come and chat with you. There's a little boy still sat on his brother.
Oh, they're all out here today.
They love to come and talk and just they sort of.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, look out behind.
Whoops. Crikey. Crikey.
Hello.
Hello. That was almost a hit and run. Hello.
Hey. On the roundabout now.
We're on the roundabout. So, we're trying to get back to the waterfront. This is really cool. I love this. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. I'm like good. What's your name?
Ruby. Your name is? Doris. Oh,
Doris.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all. Say hello.
You too.
Nice to meet you. I'm always a bit wary about filming children anywhere, but I think I think we bring some of our ridiculous baggage with us sometimes.
It was behind you coming up
Oh,
fast.
this one's got music playing.
Yeah, some of them have got their music playing. But we've made it.
We've made it. We've made it. There's a modern style boat.
Modern style. We saw these and then there's a boat.
So we've got a modern cruiser down here. Well, I think it's
Yeah.
probably maybe lifeguards.
Don't know. Missing the barrier.
So here it is. We're probably going to say goodbye from here. This will go on. Whoops, sorry, turn that round so you can see me. I'm sure you'd rather see me than all those lovely children playing. Yeah, I think we'll say goodbye. We'll wrap it up.
Just making sure that there is a barrier.
Yeah, because just next to Michelle there is no barrier.
Straight into the sea.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. I'm holding on.
So, from Dong Hoi in Vietnam, I know a lot of you will be watching this later on because some of you won't be up yet. So if you're watching this later on and you want to throw a comment in there, I'll keep a look at the comments for the next hour or so. So if you want to ask any questions about what we're up to, or just let us know what you're up to, we'll be happy to hear.
We will. Hit the thumbs up. We forgot to say that. Hit the thumbs up. Give us a few more. I don't know how many we've got.
Why is that?
It sort of helps us, I think.
Does
apparently.
it?
According to some people.
Hit those thumbs up. And love to you all from Vietnam, Dong Hoi. It's a beautiful place, by the way. If you're over here in Vietnam visiting, don't forget, get on the train, come down to Dong Hoi. I would come in the spring and autumn months.
It's very hot. In the
It's
summer.
very hot now, but it's not that unbearable.
No.
Perhaps even in the winter.
Yes, we're nice.
Love to you all. Take care. See you in the next video. There'll be something going up day after tomorrow, and then we might try and do another live stream if we have something cool to share.
We don't know.
Cheerio.